Let's go for it.
Sebastian for the Metal Gods Meltdown. And today I am joined by
Paul Van V, singer and bassist from TUBEFREEKS.
And I'm Chris Battalato, drummer.
It's awesome to be chatting to you this evening. I absolutely love the single Preacher Dog. How pleased are you with the feedback from media and fans so far?
I think so far it's been pretty good. We've gotten a lot of really positive responses out of it. A lot of people are liking the energy, the vibe. A lot of people seem to be connecting to it. So,
That's brilliant.
Good stuff to hear for us. So,
yeah. So when does Unhinged actually get released? Your album?
It's going to be released on November 5th.
Right.
The full album. It's been a long time coming, but we're definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, so what can we expect from it?
You can expect 12 tunes, heavier than previous TUBEFREEKS stuff, I would say, but it still sounds like TUBEFREEKS. Now, one thing I was going to say that I've mentioned to a lot of people that I'm really excited about is that we feel, and I feel, that the songs sound different from each other.
Right.
And so, you just like they don't all kind of sound the same. Each one kind of has its own flavor. And so we think it'll keep people interested.
Yeah. And with that being said, even as a whole, they all gel together, though.
Excellent, guys. Well, I'll be looking a little bit on your back catalogue on YouTube. And you guys, I mean, what's the following like in where you are situated for TUBEFREEKS?
Well, we're from the greater Washington, Baltimore region.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people who love rock around here. I wouldn't call it a hotbed like, Los Angeles, New York, or Austin, Minneapolis. But, we've been around for a long time. And so in this area, we're very well known. And regionally, so we've played a lot. We've played nationally, but I would say we're more of a regional band.
Cool. And so have you got lots of fans outside of the States?
Well, over the years, we've worked and done a lot of work to try to promote to Europe.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, and then this is just me talking because I do a lot of this promotion where I reach out and so forth. But of course, there's a lot of rockers in America, but everybody says, people over in Europe really love rock, and they do. And so we're always I personally am trying to work that market just as much as the US because I know people like it there.
Cool. Well, hopefully this interview will help a little bit. So what are the plans for the rest of 2022? So you released the album in November. Are you going to be hitting the road with that?
We are.
Lots of discussion.
So
how we're going to go about it.
And I think that this happens with a lot of bands that are in our position where, of course, only the big guys are making money. And so we all have day jobs, and every band I know has day jobs. And so when you talk about touring for us, what we think we're going to try to do at first, which makes more sense for us, is to do regional shows and do them on weekends. Cool. So we'll go out on a Friday and a Saturday, 4 hours away to Pittsburgh, Morgantown, West Virginia. Then a couple of weeks later down to North Carolina, Southern Virginia, up to New York is only 4 hours away. And so touring, if that's considered touring, we absolutely be touring, but I don't think we're quite at the point, unless some things change, of course, where we had some backers or we're signed or something like that, where we're going to do the thing where you see us out for like a month and playing every single day for 30 days. We're not planning that quite yet. We've done that before, but right now we're kind of in a position to just where we want to stay more local or regional.
Well, hopefully when you do get out, play some shows, you do some live feeds. Have you ever done that before?
Not yet. That's something that I think we'd like to do in the here soon, if not in the near future. Just a matter of getting all the details of that set up, and because that's there's a lot involved with that. I've never personally done it before. So there's going to be a little bit of research, I guess, to go into that and make sure we do it right. so it sounds good, obviously.
Yeah, I sent you the note before we started here about Chris. So Chris is an amazing drummer, but he's also an amazing audio engineer. And he recorded and mixed the whole album.
Yeah.
And so you might say he's a little bit particular when it comes down to details about sounds.
In an ideal world, then, which 3 bands would be the ultimate to go on tour with?
There's 3 bands. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Well, while you're thinking of your answer, let me preface our answer with this. Like when we have to fill out stuff online about our music and stuff, they always say, well, what bands do you sound like?
Right.
You know, because they want to, you know, send your stuff to the same people who like group A, B, or C. Yeah. But the funniest thing that we think is that we kind of we do sound like other heavy bands in general, but we really don't think that we sound that much like, say, oh, well, yeah, we sound just like, you know, Slipknot or Alice in Chains.
You're frozen.
I think that's to do my voice, kind of a love it or hate it, unique type of voice. But
I think the reason that's kind of hard to answer is like this new album, like there's definitely metal elements, but there's also more mainstream elements. So we feel like, I mean, that could work to an advantage with us, where it's like, let's say, obviously one of the top bands we'd like to tour with or be on a tour with, you know, a band like, you know, let's say Gojira. You know, there's some heavier elements we have on our album that might fit in with that crowd, but then at the same time, there's other elements that would fit in with like a Breaking Benjamin crowd, you know, something more mainstream like that, kind of like a mixed bag. So I think in terms of fitting in with other bands, I don't think it'd really be hard to do that. But yeah, I mean, bands like Gojira, Breaking Benjamin, Seven Dust.
Yeah, you know, like the Gojiras and the Slipknots, and like we love I love this band Ginger from Ukraine. Those bands, they're so good, but man, they bring the heaviness, you know. And we're like kind of a cross between metal and hard rock.
Yeah.
With those bands are metal, straight up. Yeah. And so it'd be kind of tough for us to open with for them, you know. So I think maybe you understand what we're saying.
I'll tell you a funny story about Ginger. I was at a festival called Rock the Coast Festival in Vengarola in Spain. I've got to get someone to eat. And she's come on stage and she's like, "Rrr." And these 2 women, Spanish women, behind the counter going, "Is it a woman?" "That's not a woman." "It's a woman." It's not.
It's
a woman. It can't be a woman. It's so funny. Okay then, guys. So can you tell us the most memorable concert you played then with TUBEFREEKS?
Oh man.
Well, with this current lineup, I'd say, and probably just in general, I would say is the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. We played that in 2018 and 2019. 2018, Lamb of God was there, Puddle of Mud, Saliva, Tantric on the day we played. 2019, The Offspring, Godsmack, Stone Temple Pilots. Now, we didn't, you know, directly open for those bands, but we shared the stage and the venue with them. And so for me, that was kick-ass.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay. And also we think and we're hopeful, fingers crossed, but we're going for it to try and play that one in 2023. This last year in 2022, I don't know how much you know about the various festivals in the US, but that one has blown up. Mm-hmm. It's huge now with all the big names.
It just happened a couple weeks ago. The Slipknot headlined one of the nights. So that was one of the biggest bands I think they've gotten on thus far. Yeah. They had a really good crowd this time from the videos and photos we've been seeing of it. So we hope to be, I'm pretty sure we'll be back next year.
Yeah, going for it.
Go for it, guys. Okay, then. So if you could do a cover of any song by any band, which one would you choose?
I'm going to let you handle this one, Chris.
Why me? Oh, man. I mean, we've tossed around a bunch of ideas. and between like Metallica, even going back to let's say bands like Helmet, Black Sabbath. But the thing with like bands like Black Sabbath is like everybody covers War Pig, so it's like what other song can we cover that we haven't really heard people do? And there's a couple of things, ideas we've been throwing around. But ideally, the main thing is find something that, obviously, like the music end, we'd be able to pretty much play, just about most of everything, that we would want to try. But I think the most important thing is vocally something that will complement the vocal style that is Tube Freaks, while doing the song justice, but also kind of making it kind of our own thing. So that's kind of, I feel, is the most important thing. So that's why we've had people say, oh yeah, you guys should cover Alice in Chains, you guys should cover Black Sabbath, or I don't know, man. We've got people say,
well, the thing about Sabbath, and they're one of my favorite bands of all times, but they went through a period where it was my favorite, where Ozzy was singing so high. A lot of people do compare my vocals to Ozzy's. Mm-hmm. And like the Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, that was my favorite Sabbath album. But if you try and sing along with some of that stuff, woo, he's way up there. And that's hard to pull off.
I will say though, these guys have been, I think more so you and Rob. Rob's our lead guitarist,
right?
And I know like him and Paul and Rob have been saying to me, "Hey, you should learn what was that fairies?
Fairies wear boots.
Fairies wear boots."
Yeah, we play that one.
So
yeah, you should do. You should give that a go, or even Alice in Chains. You were saying Angry Chair. I love that. That'd be good.
Yeah,
Alice in Chains. Yeah, that's a huge influence.
Yeah, could tell. All right. So can you tell us what's been the most outrageous thing you've done in the name of rock and metal?
I'll let you answer that, Paul. I'm the new guy in the band. So I've only been in the band for three and a half years. So
the most outrageous thing that I've done in the name of rock and metal, I wouldn't want to put on a tape because the cops will come and arrest me.
All right, so you're gonna throw the Fifth Amendment at me. Then you're not gonna answer me for that question. All right. So next one then. Who do you think then? You sort of answered this already, I think. But who do you think has influenced the world of rock and metal?
And who's influenced metal? Well, I would actually say, I would say because they're still tearing it up, even since their I think it was their self-titled album back in '99. But I would say Slipknot.
Right.
They're still on the forefront of modern metal. They still headline festivals, and they've been playing. God, they've been over 20 years now. Them, and obviously you have to mention Metallica. That's a given.
Metallica.
They're still tearing it up too. But in terms of a band that's a little bit more relevant to the modern metal sound, I would say Slipknot.
And I think that's good. Now, my perspective is maybe a little different, maybe showing my age a little bit, but believe it or not, if you talk about who influenced, in my opinion, I'm a little bit like a historian type when it comes to this stuff.
Right.
First of all, every heavy band ever in the creation of the world has been influenced by Black Sabbath. And if you say you haven't, then you're just lying. Because they did, but before that, believe it or not, and you'll appreciate this because you're from the UK. I love the Beatles, cool. and I think that they really took rock music from that kind of twangy 1950s stuff. Really, when they started coming out with some of the psychedelic stuff, and just opened the whole world to that stuff. And those guys they are some of, my favorites with those harmonies and those melody lines. And so I know that doesn't really go towards metal, but when you talk about what bands really influenced the world of rock and roll.
That sort of thing for the Beatles, then you got Sabbath, so that's the sort of start of it. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, but I agree with what he's saying too about modern stuff.
Cool. Okay, then. So what's the most important thing for Tube Freaks right now?
For us, it's to get out there and back up this album. And so we've already got the 2 videos out. On October 11th, we have a 3rd video for a song called The Casualty.
Cool.
Then we're planning to do at least 2 more, maybe 3 more videos from the album. We're going to see which ones kind of bubble to the top, if you will. And then it's to get out there and to play, and also speak with good folks like yourself that are willing to have us on and promote. Get out there and do interviews and play. And if we can, we just found out last night that we may be playing a pretty big festival here in the Appalachian region and try to get back on Blue Ridge. And so club gigs, but also those festivals are high profile.
Yeah, I think next summer should be looking pretty good for us, because I think this is we're finally dropping the album late fall, so it gives us time to get the momentum going from that. And then on top of that, obviously, I'm sure all these festivals, they start booking like about a year prior to that. So as soon as the one festival's over, they're already starting planning for the following year. So it's like, if you wait until like January, February, March, you're already too late.
Yeah.
So as regard to what Paul was saying, between this other Appalachian festival and even Blue Ridge, those are just 2. We have a really good chance of getting on the other ones right now. And given that we have these other 3 videos prior to the release to build up to the release, and then we'll probably have another 1, 2, 3 more videos after release over the course of the months following November 5th to kind of build up that buzz. So I'm sure we'll pick up maybe a few more along the way for the summer.
Brilliant.
So all of that, but also we're planning to come to London, but we were hoping we could crash at your pad.
I don't live anywhere near London, mate. I live right up the top. I sound like I'm from down south, but I'm from Devon. Devon's there, London's there. I live up the top. I live by Newcastle upon Tyne. Have you heard of it? Have you ever heard of it?
No, I've been to Cambridge before.
That's miles away. You're welcome to stay at mine, mate, but it's far. It's like 300 miles, 350 miles.
So, okay.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay, well, that'd be good, guys. We can get over to the UK, but there's more to the UK than London, trust me. All right, and so can you tell us why we should buy and listen to your band?
Okay. I want to be a smart ass.
I know, I want to be a smart ass so bad. We have an internal joke.
We were joking about that last night, actually. At our gig we played.
Okay, so wait, let's try and think of a good answer.
Yeah, unless you want me to just say it.
No, don't. I
don't know your audience, so it's probably
you can't say it.
It's a rated R comment.
Can we repeat the question again, Seb?
Sure. So can you tell us why we should buy and listen to your band?
I would say because if you like to rock and roll and have a good time, you will want to buy it so that you can enjoy a portion of your life.
So now tell me the rude version.
What's that?
Tell me the other version, the version you were talking about last night.
I don't know if I could say that on your podcast.
We can't say it.
I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, that's not really that offensive. It just kind of has some suggestive undertones to it. But
no. It's one of those crude.
It's an inside joke.
It's a crude inside joke. We can't do that.
Fair enough. All right. So can you give me 4 words to describe Tube Freaks?
Rowdy. Next word is yours.
I don't know. Oh God, it's hard to narrow it down to just 4 words. Oh man.
I would say heavy,
It's making yeah, groovy.
heavy and groovy.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do. That's good. Okay, so this next bit, right? It's 5 questions. So either or either. First one, vinyl or digital?
Vinyl what?
Or digital.
Vinyl or digital?
Oh, vinyl or digital?
I'm gonna let the engineer handle that one.
I would let's say digital.
Really?
Digital. Come on, really?
I'm more new school than I am old school. You know.
Next one, important. They're all important. Beer or pizza?
Duh.
I mean, you can't have one without the other, though. It's, I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point. But he said or, so that means you only get to choose one.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess beer does kind of count as food, though, doesn't it? So
Beer.
beer.
Yeah.
Okay. More intimate gig or festival?
Ooh.
That's a tough one. They're both fun. I would actually say, I mean, yeah, it's nice to see a sea of people at a festival. You know, that's awesome. It gets the adrenaline rolling. It gets you really pumped up. But I like the smaller shows because it's more personal. You get better crowd, more personal interaction with the audience. I feel.
Yeah, and I know these are quick hitter questions, but last night we played a show up in Martinsburg, West Virginia, in this tiny little place. And previously in a gig we played in Baltimore in this big place. So it's all, and so the bigger place had all of this pressure to deliver all of these people and do all this stuff. And the small place was just like, it was laid back, no pressure. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely takes some stress off, not just us, but all the other bands too. They were super, the venue staff was great. The sound staff, Right Live, we'll give a shout out to Brandon Wright at Right Live. Him and his crew were fantastic, giving us and all the other bands, making sure that, changeover sound, everything was top notch.
Yeah, and that's why we look the way we do today. And it's kind of tough for me to sit next to this guy.
It's smelly, yeah.
Smells.
All good, man. All good. All right, next one. Saint or sinner?
Oh, sinner.
Yeah.
Well, you speak for yourself. I'm just speaking for myself.
I'm no saint. I'm no saint.
He's no saint.
No.
Okay, the last one is like, who would you rather be stuck in a lift with, Joe Biden or Kermit the Frog?
Kermit the Frog. That's an easy one. I think the rest of the world would probably agree with that. Oh.
We're not going there.
Brilliant. All right, guys. I want to thank you for your time. It's been great chatting to you. Hopefully you do get over to the UK and don't just do London. Make sure I get the album sent over to me so I can review it for our site. Do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers and listeners?
One thing that I would like to say, you can find us all over the web, social media, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. But make sure that when you look us up, that you spell TUBEFREEKS with 2 E's in the word freak. It's TUBEFREEKS, because if you put EAKS, that might throw off your searches. And then our website too, tubefreaks.com.